My name is Jonta McClain. I'm 44 years old and I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. I have two children, 28 and 29. A little bit about myself. I was adopted at the age of 2 months. However, my adoptive parents were very, very good providers. They held jobs down. They did raise me in the church. We went to church every Sunday. I sung on the choir. I ushered. I participated in a lot of things as a young child. And I started rebelling around the age of 12 or 13. Started smoking marijuana. Started drinking shortly after. About 16, I had two children. I had a lot of struggles growing up. I did a lot of things that adolescents do, but I think I might have been a little bit to the extreme. I did not graduate high school. I dropped out after I had my first child when I was 15. I had 5 adopted brothers and sisters. I was the baby. Around 95, my adoptive dad passed away, and that really took me on even more of a downward spiral. I stopped going to church. I would always pray, but it was still a disconnection. God always let me know that He was there, no matter what. At the age of 19, I started using harder drugs. I started using cocaine. I started using X pills about 2021, and I had a very bad drinking problem. So I was in the streets a lot, running around. Of course, I ended up in and out of jail. I did a light prison sentence, maybe about 3 months for a violation of probation. About 6 or 7 years ago, I got in a domestic violence situation, and God spoke to me and He told me to leave. I got on a bus, grabbed my car because I knew that it wouldn't make it, and I came to a domestic violence shelter in Knoxville, Tennessee, Helen Ross McNabb Center. I had maybe $100 in my pocket because I didn't get much for the car, and I bought all of the things that I needed. But again, it was a little voice telling me to just step out in faith. So I made the move, and it was like one of the best moves of my life. I got a job very quickly. However, I did still have issues because as a child, I developed a lot of anger issues, and I did develop some trauma being molested at a young age. So it was a lot of pain and a lot of trauma that I was carrying with me. Eventually, I ended up in jail in Tennessee about 6 years later. And I was arrested for attempted murder and had some gun charges also. And even then, God still, I knew everything was okay. So that was hard, being away from all of my family in a whole nother state and not really having anybody. And what I learned was a lot of times that's just how God wanted us. So it was hard, but I still felt the comfort of God throughout the whole situation. So behind the walls, I started taking a class called Focus Ministries, where had I not went to jail, I would not have come in contact with Focus Ministries. It's very personal to me when they say that God will make your enemy your footstool. So this is definitely one of those situations. So started taking the class at Focus, and I met some really wonderful people. This is the beginning of my new life. They really filled in the gaps on a lot of things that I was missing in my life. Nothing material. Everything was spiritual and reality. We took a lot of different classes, and once again, I know that it was heaven sent. And by me having a background in church, it was more surreal to me. It meant a lot more to me because I had always wondered why was I the way that I was. Because like I say, I had a pretty decent life growing up. Outside of being molested, my parents provided for me a lot of things my peers were going through. I didn't have to go through. All of my adoptive siblings, which is 5 of them, they all graduated. They all went to college. I was like the oddball. So again, I always wondered why was I the way that I was. But I started taking Focus, and God literally sent them to give me answers. He used Focus Ministries to change my life. And coming in contact with the women that participate and volunteer for Focus Ministries behind the walls was like building a family. God was sending me a family. Like I say, I was here alone, so I thought. But just by me being obedient and signing up for that one class, it was the beginning of a new life. So yeah, I started taking Focus. The teachers went over and beyond. They did more than what was required. They weren't just teachers, they were friends. They would be mother figures. Everything that God knew I needed, He sent that through Focus. So I have to say that it meant so much to me going through Focus that when I got released at 3 o'clock in the morning, and let me back up. So I did go in with 2nd-degree attempted murder. The whole time I knew that God was doing something. I did have my bad days, but overall I knew that God was working. And so I went in facing 12 to 20 on 4 different felonies because I am a convicted felon. But however, I was released. My charges got dropped down, and I was released on probation. And that's nothing but God. They taught us a class, Discerning the Voice of God. And that class, that just reminds me of this situation because, like I say, no matter what, I knew that God was sending people on my behalf through Focus Ministries. And so now I'm at the Focus House, but when I got released, I had nothing but at 3 o'clock in the morning with no phone, no nothing. God saw fit for a lady's phone that should have been off. Her phone was still working. And once me and her departed, her phone was no longer working anymore. So those are the type of things that God has clearly showed up for me, just things that can't be explained. But yeah, I got out of jail with a 50-pound bag of Focus books from 2 semesters, and I refused to let go of my books. I carried those books for like 3 miles, not knowing where I was gonna go. But the moral of that is that Focus changed my life. Those books changed my life. Those books, like they changed my life, I want to be able to help change somebody else's life with those same books. So I'm at the Focus House now. I've been here for like 3 weeks, and I could just say that it's been a miracle for me. It's something that I cannot explain, but in the words I would try is love, family, encouragement, patience. They literally look at us and love us through God's eyes. if it wasn't for focus, I don't know where I would be.